So right now we are going. I'm recording.
There's a karaoke band on the road. They go by the name.
Good morning, friends. So today we are going to Washington Square Park. I'm excited, but I'm also really sad. It's definitely a bittersweet moment because, well, Washington Square Park is where we had it. That was like the hub of all of our classes, and our school building is literally right there. And if you've seen like a few videos back, we went there a couple months ago. But this time it's different because this is most likely the last time we'll be going to Washington Square Park before we leave New York. So it's exciting because we get to kind of relive everything. We get to go and eat at our favorite place, which, if you saw that video, that is the same place that we took Winnie whenever we brought her with us to the park. Just so many memories were made there, so many friendships. It was great. And I really do wish that like we were able to finish off the year in person, in our classes, our same professors. And now just looking back at it, it seems like our time in grad school just went by way too fast. We didn't even get the full experience. So now that we're going back today, it definitely feels weird, but it's also a happy time. We get to reminisce about everything, our classes, our teachers, our friends, activities, just memories that we've been able to make around there. Washington Square Park definitely has a special place in my heart. All of New York City has a special place in my heart, but there in particular because, you know, that's where our school was. That's where all of our free time was mostly spent. And we honestly love it there. So today we're gonna have a little picnic like we did last time and just kind of sit there and take it all in one final time before we leave. But we have to make the most of it. You know, this won't be our last time here in New York City. But before we leave, I definitely want to make some memories. So Javi just informed me that instead of taking the subway there, we are going to take a Revel scooter. And the Revel scooter is what we took home from the Museum of Natural History in my last video. So it's pretty exciting. I really like it. It's really cool. You get to see New York City in a completely different way. You actually get to see it from the street view. You don't want to pay all the extra money for a taxi or an Uber or whatever. It's a really great and inexpensive way to get around. In addition to the city bikes. The city bikes are cool and all, but like for me, I'm only 5 feet tall, like 5 foot even. So my feet can't even like reach the ground. Like whenever we're at a stoplight or something, if I were to put my feet down, my feet wouldn't touch the ground, and so I couldn't like stabilize the bike and I would tip over and I would just lie there like a dead fish. But it's true, I got a couple witnesses to tell you, because I've tried it before. I've wanted to ride a city bike before, but I got on it and I tried it and my feet don't touch. So can't do that. My next best thing is to ride on the back of a Revel, because Javi can actually reach those pedals with his long legs and I just hold on like a little koala bear. We've never ridden it down to Lower Manhattan to like the East Village, which I mean, we've only ridden it once before and that was in my previous video, so it's not like we've ridden it around all of New York City. It'll be really fun and cool to see everything from a different vantage point. And then we're gonna go and get some food. Like I said, we're gonna have a nice picnic and we're just gonna enjoy our surroundings while we can. Hi friends, so sorry I didn't record us on the Revel. The whole reason why is because whenever you're on it, like you're going pretty fast and you're like swerving and zigzagging through traffic, and if I were to stick my hand out and hold my phone and record us, I either could have hit something else, something could have hit me, I could have dropped my phone. It's just pretty crazy. All in all, it's really fun though. I love it. That's like our new way of getting around other than the subway. So I had a lot of fun. You guys should try it when you come to New York City. So the reason why we love going to Space Market and eating it all the time is because it reminds us of whenever me and Javi used to come here for our classes. And for lunchtime, we would always go with like a group of friends, or even just me and him, go across the street to Space Market. The silver building and where we had all of our social work classes is located directly across the street from it. So it was just a very simple, easy walk to go over there, get some lunch, and then come back and eat it in the lounge that we had in the basement of our building. It was converted into just like a student lounge. But Space has like this really cool food option. You can, of course, buy like pre-packaged and like little snacks and stuff. And so like I would go in the mornings and I would get like little muffins, a juice, whatever. But they also have like a buffet style little setup in the back of their store, and we would always go and get like some chicken. For me, I would get chicken, mac and cheese, and some rice, and that's like the most random pairing ever, I feel, but it's so good. Their mac and cheese is pretty good most of the time. I feel like, well, just with any place, it's always like a hit or miss. Today, unfortunately, it was a bit of a miss, which is really sad because, like I said, it's most likely our last time being here. But for the most part, it's always pretty good. I mean, it satisfies us. And then whenever we had classes, it would satisfy us until we got home later in the day. Because for us, we had 4 classes and only 2 days out of the week. Those classes would be like 2-3 hours each. So, you know, they were long periods of time throughout the day. So, of course, you know, for me, I would get hungry all the time. I would want a snack all the time. And so I would kind of like stock up at Space. And like I said before, we would just go ahead and eat it in the basement of our building, which was really cool because, you know, they decorated it. They added cool lights, cool chairs, computers are down there. So we would go down to the basement and literally everybody was there. It's like another class reunion or something. It's like, hey, we just saw you 15 minutes ago. Yeah, here you are again. And then we're all sitting around the same table, doing our homework, eating lunch, you know, doing our projects that are due in like another half hour. You know, it was really crazy. But it was so much fun, and I honestly miss those days so much. And being back here in Washington Square, it just makes me miss it even more. And like I said, we found it. Literally, it's just right outside our door. Like, you step out of the silver building, you cross the street, and you're already in front of Space Market, which is so cool. And then if you are not feeling the food that they have there for the day, right next door is the actual, like, it's a dorm hall, but of course, like, on the base floor is their own like little food court area. So they would have Chick-fil-A there. They would have some really cool like egg shops, sandwich shops, fruit shops. They even had Jamba Juice there, which was really cool because, you know, I would go there all the time also. So we would switch up between Space and the little food court. But now it's time to go home. So we meet again. This is how we're getting home. Except this is in a different location than where we left the Revel that we took to get here, I think. Oh, thank you. So literally just download, pick up a Revel, whichever is most closest to you, and then ride all the way to your destination. So just the other night, we were able to finally reserve our moving company and our car rental. So for our car rental, we are looking about renting it for about a week. And then, of course, we are going to take a family road trip. It'll be me, Javi, Margot, and Winnie in the back seat. And we are going to drive all the way from New York City to LA. So it'll be a week's worth of road trip. It'll be fun. It'll be intense. It'll be stressful, tiring. We hope to stop along the way in like some major cities and really make a fun trip out of it. Because in reality, like at least for me and Javi, we were thinking as we were planning, we're like, well, yeah, of course we can fly. It'll be easier. It'll be cheaper. It'll be faster. But realistically, when are we ever going to have the chance to drive through these cities again, or to ever visit these cities again? Yes, of course, places like Chicago, we would, fly and visit, but other places like Nebraska, Wyoming, just like states like that, we wouldn't necessarily go to like on vacation. That's not our speed, that's not our style to really go. So now that we are moving, we're like, let's take a road trip, let's go through all of these places that we are pretty sure that we're never going to visit again. So it'll be like killing two birds with one stone. Hi, Whitney. Are you excited? You excited to go on a road trip? Sorry if you guys hear a bunch of like noises and sounds. Javi's in the shower, so he's watching his little like sports center highlights. But here is the email. It has been reserved. See, thank you, Javier. Your car has been reserved. This is so exciting. Yes, we're going with budget. Normally we go with Enterprise, but for this trip, in this instance, Enterprise was just proving to be a little too expensive, so we're going with my girl budget here. And then of course, I have sticky notes here to hide our like private information. So don't get mad at me for that. Woo! Privacy comes first here, people. And then for our moving company, if you'd have asked us like 2 months ago, like what moving company we were going to go with, I would have for sure, hands down, 100% said Pods. But like at the beginning of the year, whenever we first found out that we were moving cross country, I looked up Pods and then I got a quote from them. I was in contact, I was emailing back and forth, and all was great. But just a few days ago, I went back on Pods, I re-entered our information, and I got a new quote. And that quote was just like so much more expensive. And I was in contact with this woman, and she was so pushy. She's like, well, I have to lock you into your dates like now. They're going so fast. And every time I would ask a question, she would answer it, but then she'd be like, okay, so do you want me to book it for you now? And it's like, whoa, okay, calm down, hold your horses. Just for one thing, I was asking a simple question. You didn't have to be rude, because she was kind of rude about it too. But anyways, so we're like, Pods really isn't the best bet. And luckily, as I was stressing and talking to the Pods person, Javi was over here and he was looking at other moving companies, and he found the U-Haul U-Boxes. So everybody, when they think of like moving long distances, they're like, oh, grab a U-Haul, take a U-Haul. And that would be great, and it would work if it was just me and Javi traveling in the car. But we have a cat, we have a dog, and like Margot, yeah, she doesn't need a lot of room, so she might have been okay. But we have Winnie, and even though Winnie isn't the biggest dog in the world, she is still a dog. She is still a little puppy. So she is growing and she needs room to like run around, walk around, stretch her legs. You know, she can't be in like the cramped U-Haul cab. So we're like, realistically, that's not gonna work for us either. It's a good idea, but it's not gonna work. So Javi kept looking and he found the U-Haul has another service that's kind of like pods. They're moving containers, they're big like pods are. So we started looking up U-boxes and we were watching a bunch of tutorials, a bunch of like testimonies about customers using them and like how good it was. Then we watched a demo of people packing it up and then unpacking, and it's like, whoa, you could actually fit a lot of stuff in there. So we're like, okay, you know, U-Box, it seems like the better bet. It was definitely a lot cheaper. So we're like, okay, we're gonna go with them. And yes, we knew that this move was going to cost us a lot of money, but I mean, it's still a move. We still have to buy new things once we get to LA, and we don't know if we're gonna have jobs by the time we do move. So we're gonna have to start saving a little bit of money. And so if we can save like a couple of $100s on just the moving company, of course we're gonna freaking do it. So we got a hold of the U-Haul U-boxes, and it was super fast, super simple. And we reserved it right then and there. And we even bought a couple of like moving supplies, like a mattress cover, a TV box, some like bubble wrap. It's so cool. It was so quick. I'm really excited. It gave us like a timeline, and then it also has a guarantee where it's like each day that it's late, we get a $50 refund. So I'm like, okay, you know, at least they give us some kind of guarantee on our stuff. And of course we bought insurance for it as well. But I'm super excited to use it, and hopefully all of our stuff will fit. We got 2 boxes, so hopefully all of our stuff will fit in those 2 boxes. Like I said, right now the apartment is really messy, but I mean, in reality, we don't have a lot of stuff, at least I don't think. But of course, if you've ever moved, then you know that stuff can come out of corners, crevices everywhere, and then before you know it, you're like, what the heck? I did not realize that we had this much stuff. So like I said, I was communicating with Pods, and then they're like, oh, your quote's expired, but that is okay, and all this stuff. And then in my head, I'm thinking like, I think not. You guys are insane. We're not going to do that. So goodbye. Here's our U-Haul U-Box reservation. Here's our little email. So yay, it's done, it's taken care of. I was trying to find the email, but I couldn't, where it has the U-Haul timeline. And I think the U-Haul is getting here like sometime in the middle of September. We are packing it up that same day. And then we're getting a rental car the very next day, which is also whenever the U-Box is going to start being in transit. And it's gonna take a while for it to get there. That's the only downside that I saw between U-Box and Pods, was that it was gonna take a little longer. But it's like, saving a couple of days does not justify spending a couple more $100s. Like, yeah, it would be nice, but at the same time, it's like, it's not really worth it to me. Like the lamp, I can live 10 days without the lamp. It's not gonna kill me. So right now we are going out. Pretty soon we're going to start getting our moving boxes and the rest of our moving supplies in order to pack up all this stuff. And then we're also going to sell some of our furniture, like our couch. We're gonna definitely sell that. And then our dining table, which we did use as a dining table, but then it's like, we liked eating on our couch a lot more. So it really just became like a catch-all table. and that's where we put our keys, put our jackets, our coats, until we have time later on to put them in their proper place. But I mean, stuff like that we're just gonna sell. Mostly the big furniture, so that way we don't have to take it with us, except for our bed. Of course, we bought our bed, we own our bed, so it's only a year old. Of course we're gonna freaking take it. But like I said, here pretty soon we are gonna have to start buying boxes, so it'll be a bittersweet moment. But I'm honestly looking forward to it. I have a love-hate relationship with moving, so I guess we'll see.